energy bills are rising at a historic rate, and there's no end in sight. Talk to enough people and you'll soon realize nearly everyone's shocked at their recent electricity bills. Some studies reveal energy costs have skyrocketed by as high as 60% in as little as 2 years. That's why tens of thousands are installing this magical little device from SavePowerBills.com to help slash their energy bills. This sophisticated gadget stabilizes electrical currents, reduces dirty electricity, and helps protect your appliances and electronics. Simply plug it into your home's wall outlet to help lower energy consumption and ultimately help reduce your power bills every month. Countless 5-star reviews back up the notion that this device is one of the most efficient ways to save money while beating the greedy power companies. But there's more. If you order now, you'll also receive 65% off, fast shipping within the USA, hassle-free returns, and last but not least, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee. Just go to SavePowerBills.com to take advantage of this limited time deal before they sell out. Once again, that's SavePowerBills.com.
500-pound black bear that made its den under an Altadena home, still refusing to leave after more than a month. Now the homeowner there says that this massive bear has done damage to his pipes, forcing him to shut off the gas.
Well, it looks like it's that time of day again, where I gotta pop a drink in the middle of the afternoon because the state of California happens to be the dumbest state in the entire union, and a perfect distillation of California's ineptitude is this policy that the Fish and Wildlife Department has decided to implement against a homeowner, essentially saying that because a bear has been there for 30 days, it gets squatters' rights. We wouldn't want to interfere with the bear in its new environment, so the homeowner has to deal with the fact that the bear lives under his house from now, I guess, until the end of time, or he has to take the bear to tenant court, because that is actually how dumb the state of California actually is, and I will drink to that. But before we get into that, I want to say thank you to everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
And that man says that living with a bear under his house has now kind of pushed him to the breaking point.
Can you imagine? Wow. And he plans to sue the Department of Fish and Wildlife after being told that the state will no longer help.
So look, obviously I feel absolutely terrible for this homeowner, because when you hear his story, when you hear what Fish and Wildlife ended up doing to him or not doing for him, and you understand that now he's trying to sue them, all you want to say is you hope he takes them for millions of dollars, because the fact is Californians pay such extraordinarily high taxes, but the public services are absolutely trash. And a perfect example of this is that the department that is supposed to manage bear situations has decided that they're a bit bearish on his situation.
Hi, Court. Yeah, it's just terrifying. This poor homeowner says he's just at his breaking point. It's been over a month since that 550-pound black bear moved into his home. And as you just mentioned, it's caused a lot of damage. He can hear it from inside of his home. So now he's deciding to sue the agency because they stopped helping him get that bear out.
So first of all, obviously for you preverts out there, the reporter on the ground is in fact an attractive lady, but she's also a bit of an evil white racist, because for whatever reason, she wants to emphasize that it's a black bear that's doing it. She's like, 13% of the bear population commits 50% of the home intrusions, and I find that to be absolutely disgusting and honestly horrible in every possible way, because in reality, this is a bear of color. This is a bear that should be judged not by the color of his fur, but the content of his character. And yeah, we're getting distracted from the story, but trust me, it's worth it, because what this man had to go through with this bear, and still has to go through as it is still there at the time of filming, is absurd.
Ken Johnson says the bear moved under his Altadena home just before Thanksgiving and never really left.
If I kept track of everything I tried, it would be, bear 14, homeowner 0.
Okay, so is it just me, or does this man actually look like he should be able to handle this bear situation himself? I mean, again, his name is Ken Johnson. Sounds like a very fake TV name. He looks like he's the host of a nature show, and maybe, just maybe, he's trying to shift the burden onto the government because he doesn't want to have to sue this bear in order to get it out, because the bear's been there 30 days, and therefore it has squatters' privileges, and now it's a civil matter. It's not a matter for the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and therefore they're not going to intervene on his behalf.
California Department of Fish and Wildlife stepped in at first, setting a trap near the crawl space. But instead of catching the large bear under Johnson's home, the trap caught a smaller bear, the wrong one. That bear was hauled away and the bigger bear stayed put.
Well, I was kind of sad for the other bear at first, but then I'm like, well, if this bear comes out now, where's he going to go?
Now look, I'm not a bear expert. I'm not a bear scientist. I'm not a bear doctor. I do like to bear arms, and sometimes I walk around in my bare feet. But other than that, I don't know a lot about bears. But if you ended up developing a trap that was capable of trapping said bear, why wouldn't you just use the same trap again? Just because another smaller bear ended up going into it doesn't mean that eventually it won't work for the bear that you think. Also, if the bear's in a crawl space, why not put the trap right up against the crawl space so that would attract the bear that you actually want to get?
Biologists later tried again using air horns to flush the bear out. Johnson says it looked like it was finally working until he says they suddenly got a call ordering them to stand down.
Very defeated. Oh, yeah. I mean, I just dropped because, like, well, now what? It's all up to me? And what, I'm supposed to watch my phone when he comes out in the middle of the night, or like sleep in the kitchen and listen for him every night? I even asked, like, okay, so as long as you guys are gone, can I still use the bait to get him? No, can't do that.
So one of the reasons why I hate Democratic areas, Democratic states, is because they have all these taxes, they have all these rules and regulations and the proper authorities to address every issue under the sun, including issues that you don't need a separate agency for. But when you actually need them, when you actually want to rely on
Energy bills are rising at a historic rate, and there's no end in sight. That's why tens of thousands are using this amazing little device from SavePowerBills.com. It's a small but smart gadget that stabilizes electrical currents, reduces dirty electricity, and helps protect your electronics. Just plug it into your home's wall outlet to help lower energy consumption and ultimately help reduce your power bills every month. Order now to get 65% off plus many free bonuses before they sell out by going to SavePowerBills.com. That's SavePowerBills.com. Order now.
on them, they just pack it up and go home. And then because of the existence of all those rules and regulations, you are powerless to do the very things that they were doing because, oh my God, you could hurt the animal who again has tenant rights. Now, again, there's no real explanation for why they ended up abandoning the mission other than the fact that the bear ended up getting 30-day residency at this location and thus is protected by squatters' rights. But the fact is they're blocking him from being able to do this. And look, even though I don't want you to kill the bear just for no reason, in reality, this would be a situation where if you had a firearm, you could take care of it in about 3 minutes because, again, the thing is underneath your house, damaging your home, and it could jump out and attack somebody at any given time throughout the course of the day. And guess what? If a newspaper person or somebody from the post office is delivering mail and this bear comes out from underneath this home and attacks someone, they're going to sue the homeowner, find the homeowner liable, and claim that the homeowner didn't do everything in his power to inform the proper authorities and make sure they actually acted.
Since then, Johnson says he can hear the bear moving around, presumably doing a lot of damage under his home.
You can hear the plastic being shredded underneath, and even one of the cameras picked it up, just bulldozing through it. It's a mess under there.
This video of a broken pipe prompted him to shut off his gas on Christmas Eve, and he hasn't had any hot water since.
I'm just exhausted from the whole thing.
Again, this is absolute madness, but as we've seen with many of these squatter cases, the bear, in order to get a good settlement from the homeowner, is incentivized to destroy the property. He ended up damaging the gas line, and at what point in time is the city, is the state going to step up in this situation? Because obviously this is very dangerous. It could get significantly worse, because if he hadn't noticed the damage to that pipe and left his gas on, you could be in a situation where gas is leaking through the neighborhood, and then the whole property could blow up or there could be a fire, and yet the state of California is standing idly by. And again, I will point out, if you're paying exorbitant taxes in this particular state, you should be able to have a hot shower. You should be able to actually use your stove. You shouldn't be able to be frozen out during the Christmas season. Now, I understand it is warm in Southern California, but that still doesn't mean that you should be without heat just because a bear decided to move onto your property and California government regulators decided that the bear has more rights to it than you do, but this is the situation that he's at. And unfortunately, even though he's going to file a lawsuit against Fish and Wildlife, the fact is that qualified immunity that everybody thinks is about police officers is actually about government officials overall. And in fact, many of the qualified immunity cases and the first cases that established that principle had to do with social workers, regulators, and all these different people who are distinctly not police officers. So yeah, the government is going to be fully protected in their ability to not provide service, but the fact that they could not provide a service and then block you from doing it is just another absurdity, again, synonymous with the state of California.
You know, I get my mind off it for a little bit, and then suddenly I get flooded back with, oh, that's right, can't take a hot shower. I got to monitor the situation all the time. Every time my phone buzzes, it's like, is that him? Do I have to go and keep him away?
Now, Johnson says he plans to sue, accusing the agency of negligence and emotional distress.
Because this has gone on long enough, and it's something that they should deal with. I mean, it's a tagged bear. They've dealt with it before. They chose not to euthanize it, and now it's back. And it's just going to keep on doing this.
So he ends up saying that this is a tagged and monitored bear by Fish and Wildlife, and yet they're still doing nothing. They chose not to euthanize it in the past. And even though I think that is a bad consequence for somebody who's just squatting on your property, I need to remind all of you guys that this is just a massive bear. It is a massive bear under his property ripping up his pipes, and Fish and Wildlife that is supposed to deal with this has decided, no, we're not doing that. We're not interested in that. And again, it's absolutely absurd that they could just make this decision, but again, it is the state of California.
KTLA legal analyst Allison Treasel says the department has a duty to protect homeowners when there's a public safety threat, and says Johnson may have grounds to take this to court.
The homeowner certainly can prove that this bear is causing damage and is a threat to his safety.
While she doesn't know if and how much money Johnson would get from the lawsuit, she believes if he wins, a court order to remove the bear is likely.
Now look, they bring on a lawyer that says that he might have a case. Again, I highly dispute that, but maybe he could get a court order for them to remove it. However, when Fish and Wildlife was reached out to for comment, they did not respond to requests for comment, but they said, look, we got a camera, or the reporter ended up reporting that there was a camera and they're monitoring the situation in some way, shape, or form. And you know, it's no big deal. If this bear ends up ripping up his entire property, that's really on him. Threat to his safety, no big deal. As long as he doesn't do anything to try to get the bear out, then they're totally fine with it, because guess what? The bear's been there 30 days, therefore it has squatters' rights. But of course, I want to know what you guys think about all of this down in the comments below. As per usual, if you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social media, support me via support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about a bear getting tenants' rights. Till next time.